The one and only multiverse presents a grand unified theory. Biological life and death in the cosmos. The tenacity of life. Charles Darwin. 1809 to 1882, age 73. Carl Sagan. 1939 to 1996, age 57. The evolution of matter, energy, space, and time, into a living intelligent reality. Web page and video are not AI generated. Your host, Richard E. Noer. TMS explanation of how life could have evolved. A. First we must understand how atoms link together and create molecules. B. Next comes the adjustment period for atoms and quantum fields to balance new configurations. C. Understanding the coupling of atoms to form more complex molecular systems. D. Understanding the transfer of configuration memory of parent atoms and molecules to inert ones. E. Last, what is the energy and evolution of life and how does it work? As discussed earlier in quantum fields of atoms, the inner fields are locked in a magnetic configurations and involved in housekeeping of the atom's integrity. The outer fields are weaker and can expand, compact and change with the environment. When same or similar atoms with compatible fields approach each other at high energies, but lacking enough heat or compression to change the atom itself, the ring fields will lock together magnetically at some point of penetration. When this happens, it changes the structure of both of the atom's outer ring and torus fields and energy balancing takes place. Electrons intermingle in orbits, and outer quantum fields equalize. If the coupling is 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, a molecule of water is created. B. Now, when hydrogen and oxygen atoms are in the presence of a water molecule, and are in the right environment, heat, contraction, gravity, and magnetic energy, their outer quantum field configurations will easily mingle because their magnetic intervals already match, thus transferring information. Next, they will magnetically couple and produce another water molecule. The clone water molecules increase, because the presence of the parent water molecules have passed information to the outer atomic quantum fields of hydrogen and oxygen. This in turn makes it easy for them to combine with the right spacing and intervals with little or no force energies. This demonstrates at a fundamental level, memory transfer and magnetic coupling. Nature now knows it takes 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen atom to duplicate the water molecule. The parent molecule can influence the environment for cloning new atoms into molecules, but to do this they must be physically involved for quantum configuration information to be passed. This process is the same for more complex molecular formations like hydrogen and carbon, hydrocarbons, or amino acids, etc. Molecules and compounds also have magnetic structural components. When they become gravitationally and magnetically involved with other atoms or structures, new configurations can form and pass quantum field information. When this happens, there is also an adjustment period to balance energies. As you can see, it becomes more and more involved. It is almost impossible to explain all the bonding and relationships that atoms, molecules, and compounds have. Each unique component has its own characteristics and interacts differently with others. Nature has no problem though, because it has been balancing all structural energies in the evolution process, and that's why it all fits together. This brings us to the final, ultimate, and complicated discussion of life. There are as many definitions as there are religions, but it has never been explained in the way you are about to hear it. The multiverse uses different criteria. First, is known science, it cannot be fanciful and without scientific possibility. Next are observations, they have to be relative to all matter and energy, and fit into a timeline of evolution. Finally, the proposed theory has to make perfect sense, so, here it goes. Life didn't all of a sudden come into existence. The energies of balancing atoms and molecular construction were always there. It is when the energies became self-perpetuating that we can say life started. Self-perpetuating in this instance means that balancing energies cause other areas to become unbalanced, then when more energies and atomic structures return stability, another area becomes unstable, and a chain reaction of events sets up. It seems that the energy of life is due to the never-ending property of nature to seek harmony, In other words, an imbalance is what drives life's evolutionary force. Life follows a set of sequences laid out by the complex combinations of atoms and molecules, water, hydrocarbons, amino acids, ribonucleic acids, proteins, RNA, and DNA. These are the building blocks of life. All life has self-perpetuating energies and is simple to understand at a basic level, but given billions of years to evolve, it becomes almost too much for the human brain to comprehend. It is awesome. I shake my head and think about it every day. Final observation, and it is a big one. It is quite possible that it took a lot more time for life as we know it to evolve. We have concluded that 4 billion years is a reasonable period of time, that's the likely age of Earth. What if this is not the case? In my way of thinking, there is a 50-50 chance that life's complex structure and ability to interact with other life forms needs more time than we have given it. This has profound implications. It predicts that Earth had to be seeded with the essence of an evolving complex of matter and energy, and the capability of self-perpetuation. Anyone? Now for something very profound, and to some upsetting, but it violates no rules. The following is not pure science, but it is pure logic. It can be said that life is still evolving. Starting with a virus, a virus is not living yet. It is a packet of instructions in stasis. When it encounters a host, life for the virus begins. Cancer is similar to a virus, but it also has to have a living host before replication. Bacteria on the other hand, is authentic life and needs no host. The only requirement for replication comes from a supportive environment. In other words, all its instructions for survival are complete. All it needs are the proper non-living elements and surroundings. Every living thing has to replicate and reform their matter and energy. If you really think hard about how life evolves, and how it uses its environment, this idea about good and evil is not so clear. Nature does it all the time. A virus has just as much reason to evolve as a human. I know, this taps into our primal instinct to survive, but the virus also has its instructions to endure. Now, are you ready for this? We, meaning all of life on Earth, may have been a virus at one time, in another place, in another solar system, in another galaxy. Death of intelligent reality. Newton. Einstein. Akhenaten, first known monotheist. Giza, Egypt. The physiological evolution of perception, learning and reasoning. Realities and intelligent truths. There are two realities. There is the physical universe, a universe of height, width, depth with matter and energy, and a universe of consciousness, knowledge. An awareness of all things physical and not physical. Example, the sun exists in both realities, the physical universe and the universe of knowledge. God, on the other hand, only exists in one, the universe of knowledge, belief, consciousness. This is because of the power of thought. All living creatures with a central nervous system have awareness. Some have evolved to a point of reason and reckoning. In other words, the evolution of humans with the capability of perception, learning and reasoning. When these individuals die, so does their brains and all their accumulated knowledge, reason, and understanding, unless it has been passed on to other people with a similar belief structure. This passage of knowledge is not a physical transfer, it is a perceived understanding from one being to another. A teacher-to-student transfer of knowledge, belief, and consciousness, but not the facts of physical existence. The knowledge of a physical existence does not include the word belief. The fact of a physical existence has to be accompanied by undeniable proof. Final observation, when someone dies, their consciousness lives on, but not for their physical body. Perception lives by the thoughts and deeds that they had transferred to others. As long as you remember their presence, they have immortality. It's just like the knowledge of God. Everyone who has passed away, leaves a legacy of understanding, likes, dislikes, beliefs, and how they will spend eternity, but it is not physical reality. Like a computer database, or the burning of books, knowledge has been lost to the physical world unless it was backed up. Here at TM, the two realities have equal status. We have learned that knowledge, belief, and consciousness is not just a single existence, it is two. That being said, when a physical body dies, the essence of being lives on, but not in a physical place, it will be in a living world of knowledge, beliefs, and consciousness. A physiological world of intelligence. Your host, Richard E. Noer. Young me. Mini me. Email, noerastronomy@gmail.com. Here in a multiverse. Our goal is to find the cosmic truth. No matter where, or how far it takes you. The universe truly does unify. If you get the basics right.